Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, now streaming only on Netflix.
Barenaked, 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 ABCs. Welcome to the Barenaked ABCs, where we review every Barenaked Ladies song from 7 to Y. And no, we are not going out of order this week. The song is spelled phonetically, so we can still start with 7. We skipped 4 until today. I just wanted to say thank you to my co-host, for Aaron, for not being here. He's going to save us a few seconds about talking about it this week. So probably about 4 seconds. This is probably about all he'll save us. So my guest for this week, since we don't have Aaron or Michelle, actually we were planning on, let me go back. We were planning on having Jeff with us this week anyways, but now it's just Jeff and I this week, and we will have Aaron and Michelle's audio later on. So my guest for this week is Jeff Whitmire.
Hey everyone, how you doing?
Oh, sorry. And about 4 seconds is about how long his new album has been out on the market, but it has already made it onto iTunes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So this is actually, it's a really great album, and I have to say one of my favorite songs on it is definitely Suddenly Star Wars.
All right.
And I love how you have, so on your video on YouTube, you have it like you are dressed in 2 different sets of clothing and you're singing against yourself. But on the album, you actually have a guest come in, a lady come in that sings the opposing viewpoints on that song. And now what's her name?
That is Melissa Lewis, a good friend of mine. Melissa did backing vocals on Tickets for Weird Out in Sarasota, Cheese and Rice, and the Laundry song. So she's on the album quite a bit. I was supposed to have somebody else doing the duet part of that song, and that fell through. So in the last minute pinch to get the album out, I'm like, you've got it. Can you do this? Can you come in and do the vocals on this? And she came in and just swung for the fence and just nailed it.
Oh, she does a great impression of, and this is where I'm looking up as we're talking, that does the female lead of Audrey. She does an amazing Ellen Green impression, even if she's not trying to. Like, it comes off beautifully.
Yes. Yeah, she nailed it.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And of course, the Walmart song is wonderful as well. So you also did a parody talking about Walmart based on the Bonnie Tyler hit "Total Eclipse of the Heart."
Right. Yes. I came up with the idea for that song about a year ago, actually, around the time my son was born. Before I even knew I was going to be doing an album, I was kind of coming up with some of the lines for that one. And at the time, didn't know I was going to have an album. Had no idea how complex that song was going to be to do. So it just kind of sat in the back burner until, well into the production process of the album. I said, I really want to do that song. I think it's going to work. Again, another song where I brought in some friends to help out because there was no way I was going to be able to pull off those notes. So a friend of mine stepped in to do it, Matricula. Did a lot of the lines on that and just nailed them, but we were having a lot of audio problems. And again, we were in a pinch. I was going to be attending an event called Thump Fest in Chicago in August, and I wanted the album out by then, so it turned out she was at a convention the weekend or a couple weekends before I was going to get everything over to production and master and all that. So I called another friend of mine in another panic, just like Melissa, and I said, hey, can you do this song? And, at least do some fill-ins of the parts we're having audio trouble with. And she did it and just nailed it. That was Tina Erickson. And she did her part, and I sent them both over to my producer. I said, what do we do here? We got two really cool parts. We're just having audio problems. He's like, let me see. He's like, I think we can do this and use both their vocals. I said, all right, well, let's see what you got. Meanwhile, I'm trying those insane backing vocals. All the backing vocals in that song are me. And I'm working on that, and my wife always likes to say that she doesn't mind listening to me record the album. It's listening to me recording the backing vocals that's really boring. And because it's literally just me downstairs. I have headphones on. It's me going, ooh, just like for 3 hours. And so we're back and forth on this, and he comes and he says, I think we can use both of them. Let me try and mix them, splice them, give me the backing. And that was probably the hardest song in the album, ultimately, to do. But I really, really love the way it turned out. And kind of slipping back into suddenly Star Wars, that was one song where I did on YouTube, before I knew I was going to do an album. And when it came time to do the album, a lot of people said, if there's one song that you have to put on, it has to be that one. And and I knew that I had to do it the way it was written, which was male-female duet. As fun as it was to do that video, and kind of like Fangirl. On Fangirl, I'm dressed up in 5 different outfits, 5 different T-shirts. But yeah, so both those songs are definitely 2 of my babies on the album.
Oh, and it works so well. Both of them work very, very well, and they're a lot of fun to listen to. And you can sing right along with them. So
very singable is what I was going for. Yes.
Well, good, because you hit it.
Earworms. Going for the earworm.
Speaking of earworms,
this
week's
that was
song,
a segue.
Perfect segue. Thank you. You let me right into that.
Agreed. I totally agree.
This week's song, 4 Seconds, is definitely an earworm.
Goes to show not what you know, but who you know, so's you know. I can go flow Bill Monroe, then throw the snow for the show, stay low. Play it on a Dobro, oh, I tiptoe to and fro from Ontario. My stereos blue like the rodeo, growing like a freak show, free throw. It's just
this
the intro.
Is from All in Good Time. It was not written just solely by Ed. Ed wrote this with Ian LaFauve. LaFauve. I got it right first try.
Is it LaFauve? LaFauve?
LaFauve? I have it written down phonetically, and I still am getting it wrong.
You probably had it right.
And this song is interesting out of all the others. Well, first, let me back up. So, this song is the only other song written by him and Ed together other than Blacking Out, which we've already covered.
Right.
This song is interesting because this is one of the few songs where we actually have Tyler as a lead singer for the choruses.
Right.
So it's really fun to kind of hear him getting out there and singing a song. There are several takes of this. Other than just in the All in Good Time, there's a lot of concert takes that you can find online. And then there's also the Barenaked Ladies and the Persuasions version. I'm not sure if you got a chance to listen to that one this week.
I did, yeah.
Okay, good. Because I want to talk a little bit about that and the differences with that. Send it over to Aaron real quick and have him give us a quick breakdown of the song.
All right, let's break it down.
Breakdown. Aaron's gonna talk about chord structure and time.
4 Seconds was recorded at exactly 109 beats per minute. It seems to have electronic drums, or at least quantized drums. It's very precise. It is in the key of B-flat minor. I like this song a lot. It's bombastic. It's got a lot of frenetic energy. The counting, 1 Mississippi, 2, 3, 4, calls to mind the idea of stopping and counting to 10 when you're angry, which kind of fits the energy of the song. Here's the structure. You have verse 1, which is your A section, and that's really just B-flat, occasionally hitting F, so the 1 to the 5. That's it. It pretty much sits in B-flat, sometimes bounces down to the 5 and goes back up, or bounces up and goes back down. Verse 2, of course, is also A. Your chorus, your B section is where it gets a little more interesting. B-flat, E-flat, D-flat, F, B-flat. So you have 1, 4, 3, 5, 1. Or it's possibly going B-flat, D-flat, E-flat, D-flat, F, B-flat. So 1, 3, 1, 4, 3, 5, 1. When it goes, I've been away for years and a day. That's your chorus, your B section. So you have verse, chorus, verse 3, chorus, another verse. That's the orange door hinge verse. then a chorus, and then your outro, which is really just the A section. So it's A, B, A, B, A, B, A. There's no bridge per se.
Thank you, Aaron, for that wonderful and insightful breakdown. So what are your thoughts on this song, Jeff?
Okay, well, I can tell you my thoughts on the song musically and lyrically and what I like about it.
That would be wonderful.
And not much what I don't like about it. And then I can tell you what I think I realized about this song literally 4 minutes before we started this podcast.
4 minutes. Not 4 seconds.
4 minutes. 4 minutes. No, it's four. Well, we'll say 4 seconds. We'll go with that. No. Something just hit me about this, and I could be dead wrong, but I don't think I am. I love this song. As we mentioned, it's an earworm, and to me, this is a very non-BNL song.
Yes.
It doesn't sound like a BNL song. It's very unique, very different, and not just because Tyler is doing as much vocally as he does.
No, it is significantly different audially as well, audiologically, whatever the right word here would be. It sounds different lyrically. Lyrically, it's Ed. Like, this is totally an Ed thing.
Yeah.
But in terms of the sound of the song, this is like the experimental Beatles era type thing.
Right. And yeah. I mean, just what they experiment with sound-wise, with the crazy percussion, which makes sense that they would have some really crazy percussion on this, especially during the chorus where Tyler's shining. I get that. Just kind of the use of the sounds in there during the Close Encounters line. Of course, you hear the haunting ooh, that comes up in there.
Right. I'd love to know if that was a theremin or if that was just Kevin playing around on the keyboards.
And they're like, keep it. Yeah. Kevin's like, let me try this. And they're like, yeah, just do that. Yeah, keep that in there. Completely unplanned. And lyrically, the song is brilliant. It's a lyricist's dream, actually, because of the use of the rhyme scheme that they play with there. The first verse is how many O-rhymes can we come up with?
Right.
And still make it make sense. Even that sneaking of the note in there. But, you get that tiptoe to and fro from Ontario. My stereo's blue like a rodeo, growing like a freak show, free throw. The fast-paced, we didn't start the fire, end of the world as we know it kind of thing going on there. Definitely the second verse, which gets they slide into the now rewind. What do we have in mind? Could we unwind? I'm fine. Could we have a streamline? Just what they come up with to do that lyrically and still have it make sense. And honestly, when I first heard the song, first couple times, I'm like, it's nonsense words. There is no meaning behind this song.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that was confused at first, at least.
Do you have a theory behind the song, by the way? I'm curious.
I don't. So the only thing that I can give you what I learned off just the first verse. And that first verse,
like what you've learned from the band, or
yeah, because the first verse of the song is, even though it sounds like it's nonsense, it's not. It's Ed actually giving out a lot of information about himself once you listen to the words and go back and kind of look at what the band is and what he's really trying to say there. He's basically trying to tell us his style.
Okay.
So it's not really nonsense words. So he's trying to say, business is really, really important to not just, being good. You have to know people. And you have to get out there and you have to throw yourself out there, try as hard as you can. But even if you try as hard as you can, you still might not make it unless you find the right people.
Right.
But he's also talking about his style. So he talks about Flo Bill Monroe. So Bill Monroe is a bluegrass singer, which, I mean, Ed is very much bluegrass, but he's not just a bluegrass singer. He's the creator of bluegrass. Matter of fact, he's known as the father of bluegrass, but the reason bluegrass music is called what it is it takes its name actually from Bill Monroe's band name, the Bluegrass Boys, from Kentucky. He was a long time bluegrass player, 69 years as a singer and instrumentalist and composer. So I will be posting on our page the Wikipedia about this man, because I just can't sit here all day doing that. This is someone that fundamentally affected Ed, and we can hear that throughout all the music. He goes back to bluegrass quite a bit. But then he's also said, so the next verse after that is, then throw to snow. So he goes from bluegrass to rap. And we know this about about him anyways. Like, Snow is a rapper, Canadian rapper, one of the only Canadian rappers that really ever made it big with a song. His known, I'm sure as you know, Jeff, as for his 1992 single Informer, which was up at number 1 for 7 weeks on the Billboard. So, like, he's given us his range. Bill Monroe all the way to rap. And then during the show, he's like, I can just stay low and kind of chill and relax and play it on my Dobro. Dobro is a type of guitar. Right. It's an American resonator guitar, currently owned by Gibson. And then so the next part is, I can tiptoe to and fro from Ontario. So he's like, I can go anywhere, but this is where I'm from. And then my stereo is blue like the Rodeo. I had to play with that one for a little bit to figure that one out. I think there's a number of different things that are Blue. Like, the company Blue makes the Yeti microphones and headphones. I'm like, nah, that's not quite it. The Blue Network is an on-air name of a radio network that was around for a long time. I don't think that's it. But Blue Sound is a company that makes stereo speakers for digital media. They started up about the same time, like 2 or 3 years before this album came out, and it's speakers and audio media made by audiophiles for audiophiles. Blue Rodeo is one of Canada's most iconic bands. It's a country rock band that was formed in 1984 that was from Toronto, Ontario, which would have been very formative again for Ed. So I think that line of my stereo is blue like the Rodeo, I think that's what he's saying there. He's giving us an idea of like, okay, I'm really into audio stuff. I'm really into the new stuff, but I'm also really into the old stuff. What do you think?
All right. That definitely makes a lot of sense to me and definitely sits with the lyrics and, talks about the flow and, Ed is all about the flow. That's his style, the rap style. And the lyrics definitely go along with that. By the way, speaking of Snow, you did mention I may or may not know about a song called Informer. It's possible... I don't know if I should say this, but a certain up-and-coming parody artist may or may not have a parody of that song in the second album.
I would love to hear that if it ever were to come out.
So would I. That's the plan if this up-and-coming parody artist can pull it off. Anyway.
But I have to say, after that, I am totally floored by this song and have no idea what the song is about.
You're probably right. When I was listening, mine's way off, and you really have to squint to see it. But I kind of thought, okay, so you've talked.
So
you
got to get an eye lift after the squinting.
What was that?
You have to get an eye lift after the squinting.
You have to get the eye lift after the squinting, right? That's yeah.
That's why Greta got her eye lift.
I actually thought the whole song was about LASIK. No, that's. It's a song about going to get LASIK surgery and no. So you probably talked about this, but All in Good Time has the distinction of being the album that was put out after Steve Page left.
Right.
So this is the first non-Steve Page album, and I feel like there's some shaded references to Steve in this song.
Okay.
And,
all right.
And I kind of get that with the, it's almost the first perspective, but I can go with the flow, build my note, then throw to Snow being a cocaine reference. Before the show, stay low, play the dojo, tiptoe to and fro. In the second one, kind of like, now rewind, what'd you have in mind? Could we unwind? I'm fine. We can find a streamline. And, of course, recombine, intertwine. If I'm going to headline, trying to move all the behinds, and he says line to line, which I feel like there's... so... I could be way wrong. I feel like there's kind of some thinly veiled references to some animosity towards Steve. I don't know. I know they've always kind of sold it as, hey, it was amicable. It was amicable. Neither of us can talk tonight. It was it was amicable. But I know that things definitely were trying with Steve towards the end. It's really hard to have a bandmate who is a quintessential member of your band who's going through this, and even though you want to be supportive and you want to be humane about it, it definitely wears down on a band.
Well, taking that idea, I hadn't done that, but now looking at that second verse, I could see maybe where that is. Like, now rewind. What do you have in mind? We could unwind. I'm fine if we could find the streamline, recombined, intertwined. So, the band, after he left, did have to recombine. They had to change their sound and change the way they work together, and now they're intertwined. If I'm going to headline, and I'm inclined to be moving all the behinds. So he's like, I want to get you guys rocking. I want you to be enjoying the music. We're redesigned. We're redefined. And we're going to make this work just to get you spellbind, just to kind of keep you kind of going and having fun out here.
Well,
I can see that.
The other side of that, too, is if you really ask someone who's not a diehard Barenaked Ladies fans which voice they recognize from the early days of Barenaked Ladies, I feel like a lot of people would say Steve's.
Yeah.
Because you hear more of him. He's more prominent. Ed does a lot of solo stuff in the early albums, but not necessarily the singles. Well, I mean, Pinch Me's on there, but I feel like Steve's vocals and Steve's voice were a big part of the band. It kind of makes me think back to I'm going way old school here, but Depeche Mode was started by Vince Clarke. Really prominent, brilliant synth musician who also had done Yaz as well. When Vince Clarke left Depeche Mode, there were a lot of reviews out there, a lot of critics saying, how's the band going to continue without Vince Clarke? And I kind of feel like maybe that's a part of it too. Like they're somewhere, I feel like B&L, after they lost Steve, had to be thinking, are we ever going to be as popular, without Steve? And I'm not in any way, putting them down. I think they're just as brilliant and just as great. But that had to be a thought that crossed their mind at some point.
Well, they took several months trying to redefine who they are and re-find what they are and how they were going to work together and how they were going to make this work. They took a good break for a while to kind of figure that out. So,
right. And I can see that the third verse then too. First of all, one thing I really love about the third verse is this is again a total lyric brilliance.
I'm hoping you're going to go for what I'm thinking you are.
I'm sure I am. Up to this point in the song, it's been a serious sequence of just insane rhymes. The O rhymes in the first verse, the Ein and the Ein rhymes in the second verse. Literally the first line of the third verse ends with orange.
Nothing rhymes with orange. Oh, really?
Nothing rhymes with orange. And I just think that was absolutely brilliant.
I'm going to find as many rhymes for orange as I can. Here we go.
Right. Oh, flip the light is turning orange. Or flip the light is turning orange. All right, here we go. Where you go? Where you going with this, Ed?
Some of these are super inventive. Door hinge, 4-inch, and it works.
And then he gets into the riffs, the snowdrift gift riff, I lift.
He ran out of words at some point.
Yeah, he ran out. There's only so long you can go, But I feel like that's part of the joke.
He hit 3 rhymes. That's pretty good for orange.
Yeah, right.
I don't get what he's trying to say there, other than just, first of all, so I was like, orange. Who calls the lights on the stoplights orange? And I went online and there's a serious debate of whether it's yellow or orange. People are up in arms about this.
The traffic light, right? Yeah.
To the point that some people who are academics were even getting in and saying, actually, visibly it's more orange than it is yellow because we have to have it slightly orange in order to see it yellow because of the hue. And actually, yellow, orange, and brown are all the same color, just different brightnesses. And I'm like, holy moly. This is a live debate that I never realized. It's always been yellow to me.
And I actually hadn't thought of that as being what they were saying there, and that makes absolute sense now, especially after you told me about the dynamic controversy that's raging over whether or not a traffic signal is yellow or orange. But yeah, of course, part of the joke in the third verse is that they say that line is obscure, but the whole verse is obscure. I mean, we're being let in on an inside joke. I feel like that's
I feel like he really is. He's he'll say the last line was obscure, the one about Greta God and I lift, but no, the whole verse is obscure, and he realizes it. He's just trying to find rhymes for it, and then maybe there is something behind it, but I have not found that.
Right. And the reference was obscure, maybe piss poor, but I had to take a little detour. I mean, you're putting this in a released song, and you're acknowledging that as part of your joke, but as the audience, you're kind of like, okay, well, why? On so many levels.
Now, I'm interested to hear from you, and maybe Aaron, maybe Michelle kind of got this. All these years later, still have not figured out First of all, what does 4 seconds have to do with it? And what does he mean by I've been away 4 years in a day? I don't quite get it because this album, there wasn't 4 years between albums. There wasn't 4 years between touring. Like, there's no, like, maybe he was just depressed and shut down and not there for 4 years. But I don't understand the reference, and I don't understand the 4 seconds and the theme of it.
Is it another play on words, though? I mean, the song is 4 seconds, as in FOUR seconds. But is it FOUR years, or is it FOR years?
Well, it's written FOUR years. But it could be him just playing around with words, too.
Right. I mean, is it... Yeah, I guess, I mean, if it's FOUR, then I'm with you. I don't get that either. And, of course, I guess I don't really get if it's FOR either. But, yeah, because I don't know who that would be referencing who's been away 4 years in a day in any sense. Or is this whole song about someone we don't know about?
Another question for me to put on the list for when Ed comes on the show. That's also possible. Yeah. Like, it could be that he, like, it could be a John Lennon type thing, like, for the benefit of Mr. Kite, like, and that could be another little reference there. Like, for benefit of Mr. Kite, where John Lennon just saw this poster on the wall, and he's like, I am now going to write a song about what this poster says.
Right.
It could be Ed saw a poster, and it's like, I'm going to write a song about this.
Right. They Might Be Giants, Nightgown of the Solemn Moon, was about an obscure a kid's picture that they saw, and wrote a whole song about it. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely been done before. That we're just willing participants in somebody else's, fever dream, I guess. So
audience, I wish I had an answer for you. I know we tried to break down the songs and make sense of them. Maybe Michelle or Aaron got something we didn't, but I am flabbergasted about what the song really means, and I'm hoping, Ed, if you're listening, come on the show and explain to us what this song means.
I thought you were going to call him in now. I thought literally was expecting with that build-up, Ed was just going to be like, "Coming, all right, now let me explain the song to y'all."
I would love that. That would be so. This is where Ed, during his concerts, will say, "And I would love to invite Sarah McLachlan out. I would really like to invite her out. She's not here tonight. She's at home, but I'd love to invite her out."
Yeah.
That's me making a nice little reference to Ed. See, I can do it too.
Yeah.
I can do it, Ed.
That tribute alone is going to be enough to pull him onto the show, and he's going to finally explain, first and foremost, if the light is orange or yellow.
Yes.
And we will know. And maybe, I don't know, while he's there, he can explain the rest of the song.
I'm sure that he would have a very detailed reason why he thinks the light is orange.
Right. I would definitely laugh if he were to come on the show or whatnot, or be interviewed somewhere, and with all our rantings and our bemusings, he says, actually there was this grocer at my local store and I wrote it about him.
And the light that kept shining was just orange in the background.
Was the light above the register, and he was telling me some story about how he was he had pink eye and had to get an eye lift. I don't even know where I'm going with that.
It would not surprise me if he was driving. He came to a yellow light, orange light, and that's what popped into his head. Was he just was rhyming along. He knew he had to finish the song, and he's like, "Oh, flip, the light is turned orange. Oh, I can do that. Let's see, what else can I come up with orange?" And then he looked over. Here's a lady that looks like she's got her eye lift. Something about, so he looks the other way, sees something about Germany. He's imagining she's wearing 4-inch heels. It's the winter time, so there's snowdrifts everywhere. I can't come up with anything for the red shift drift. I don't know.
Before I crossed the road, I had to count it off. So I was 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi.
That's right.
4.
Go ahead, because I think you're going to hit on the same cool.
I'm just curious, is the Mississippi even also relevant to the lyrics as well? Or is that just meant to reference the 4, the obscure 4 that we keep hearing about in the title and then in the chorus?
Well, I think that it's... So, growing up, when I was told to count, all kids count way too fast. They never count seconds accurately. But if they have to say Mississippi, they actually get a full second in between each one. So we were told growing up, like, when you're counting, count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4, and that way, like, you're going to get your timing in. Because you have to pause long enough.
So this could just be the biggest joke on us all, though, because I think that as BNL fans, we've kind of been trained to there's never feels like there's a wasted lyric in a BNL song. Like, every line is important, every word is important.
Yep.
So, you know, it could just be that we are now counting 1 Mississippi, because I've heard that story too, and I grew up with that. Or does 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi have some significance? Like, is it right. Was this just a song that was like, okay, let's write something that they are going to completely overanalyze, like a They Might Be Giants song again, you know, something that has really no meaning, but they're going to analyze the heck out of this thing.
Well, and that's very Beatles-esque too. Like, John Lennon did that with some of his later songs. Like, they love to overanalyze our songs. Okay, I'm going to throw this one at them just to see what what happens to them.
Yeah, right.
Have fun with it, guys.
Yeah, right.
And he actually did. He enjoyed, like, reading people's attempts at analysis after he wrote these obscure songs that had absolutely nothing to do with anything. Right.
And I don't think I could do that. I don't think I have that kind of restraint. I mean, now granted, so far what I've done lyrically has been parodies, and I am doing some originals on the second album, but they're straightforward. It's comedy music. What you see, what you hear is what you get. So you know that. I think if I were to write, and if I'm on a podcast or doing an interview or just talking to someone, I'm gonna, if you let me, I'll talk for 3 hours about why I wrote a song, why I wrote this line, what I was wearing the day I recorded it. I will go on forever. I don't think I could have the restraint where I'd be like, whatever you get, come to your own conclusion as to why I did that.
Exactly.
I don't have that in me.
At this point, they've written over 200 songs. So I'm sure at this point they're like, you know what? Let's just have fun with the audience at this point. And we'll throw even a little reference that we're having fun with them on there. But let's have fun with them.
Right.
All right. Now, you could tell me if I'm way off on this. Once again, I am not musically trained, but something feels off with that last set of 1 Mississippi's. And I've listened to it a bunch of times, and tell me if I'm wrong on this. It sounds like when Tyler's saying 1 Mississippi, he waits a bar.
Right.
And then on the second 2 Mississippi, he actually holds off to the second beat of the bar.
A measure, yeah.
Waits another bar. On the 3 Mississippi, he waits till the third beat. And then on the 4, he just and then hits the 4 right on the beginning of on the 1 beat for Mississippi 4.
1 Mississippi. 2 Mississippi. 3 Mississippi. 4.
So he doesn't wait till the end of it. He just hits it right at the very beginning beat of the next bar.
Okay, you have me curious now. I mean, there's a definite deliberate pause in it. Is it going to be weird if I play it right now?
No, go ahead. I can now say it. Because this one has been this has been on my mind since I started the podcast. Of I need a real musician to break down if I'm wrong about this.
I don't know if I'd call myself a real musician.
Well, you've written more music than I have.
That's why I hire people to do that part of it. But.
And you understand music a lot more than I do.
I pay people to do the music. No, it has the same. That has the same spacing between.
He's hitting on the same spacing. Okay.
It is the same spacing. It's it feels to me to be like a measure and a half between them. And someone's going to be listening to this and go, no, he's wrong, and I'm like, that's okay. But
well, I could just see Tyler doing something like that. He's the drummer. I could see him let's play with the beat on this one a little bit.
Oh, definitely. I mean, from my count, it's the same and it feels the same. Between the two, I don't know what exactly the spacing is or signifies, but yeah.
I'll have to count it out the next time I'm listening to it.
Right. Yeah. We can be corrected on this. One of us will be corrected here, but no, but it definitely catches you off guard.
I will let you be correct on this one unless Aaron corrects me.
The ending is rather interesting when Ed sings 1 Mississippi on the first beat of the measure he's in, and then sings 2 Mississippi right around the second beat in the next repetition. It's then closer to the fourth beat for 3 Mississippi. It struck me as odd, and I would have expected them to land directly on, the beats 1, 2, and 3. But perhaps that's initially how they did it, and then they slid the audio around in their audio editing software and made it a little more like a triplet stretch across measures. Just to be contrarian or to make music nerds like me scratch our heads. Ed, I would love to ask you about this. We know you listen. Please come on the show.
I have no problem being wrong. It's But yeah, it definitely is unique that after, and I like a song that switches it up on you or mixes it up. I mean, if you listen to my Plug album, you'll notice the one thing, and I like this about comedy music, I rarely ever repeat a chorus. If I do a parody for a song, I'm going to do a chorus. I rarely ever do the same chorus. That works in regular songs and pop music, rock music, because you want people to sing along. I kind of want to always keep people guessing, and I like the fact that at the end of this one, he does do that one Mississippi, and then there's that measure and a half, I think, break before he does two Mississippi.
Right, it's not on that same... Like, it might be the same spacing in between, but it's not
syncopated.
The same.
Oh, it's definitely syncopated. That's true.
So it's interesting that he's doing that. He's not like, one Mississippi, two Mississippi, three...
Oh, yeah. It's deliberate, yeah.
Yeah, which is cool. I've never heard anyone play around with that. That's fun.
Yeah, he's off the beat coming back in there.
And I think that's another thing that I really enjoy this song. And I think it's not just an earworm. It's a really fun song to listen to. I've tried to look up, but on this album in the liner notes, they don't individuate which song has which instruments being played, which really frustrates me from doing this podcast standpoint.
Yeah, I tried to do the same thing too, and you can't find anything in this song.
Watching the live version of this, Ed just plays the guitar, but it doesn't sound the same as the recorded version. I almost want to say he's playing something like a sitar or a mandolin or something on this. It doesn't sound like he's playing a guitar, even the way he's playing it. Right. He's playing some kind of interesting instrument that they don't list in the liner notes. Either that or he's playing something really cool with that guitar. Like, he's doing something amazing.
Yeah, it does appear, on the studio version, it looks and sounds like on the Persuasions version he's doing electric, but maybe not.
He's doing a regular guitar or some sort.
It's a regular guitar in the Persuasions one.
But it doesn't have the same sound to it.
No, it doesn't. No.
And I'm like, he's doing something different on the recorded version that we never get let in on. And this is also a song that Ian LaFave also plays the guitar on as well. So maybe it's actually Ian's influence in there or his second guitar in there that's making the audiological difference on this song.
Yeah, because there's definitely a unique breakdown of sounds going on there. I mean, some of it could be a certain level of keyboard from Kevin, but I don't think so. I think they're playing something, like you said, a sitar. There's also a weird video that someone made.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Did you see the video that someone? Yeah, apparently someone made a fan video for the song.
I have to look that up.
It's kind of funny. It's people in an office setting.
So yes, I did have that. So here's the interesting thing about that. I was actually going to have that in the appearances section but it's not really an appearance either. So MWSU, Missouri Western State University, their cinema department had a contest back in 2011 where the students actually had to make videos based on this song or using this song as the skeleton of the video.
Right.
So the one that you're referencing, I think, is the one that got first place out of this contest that they had. It was directed by Aaron Williams and produced by Jeff Meyer.
Where do you find this stuff out? Holy cow.
I do a lot of research. I love this show. It's basically them playing office, hide and seek, or tag or something along that line.
Right.
I could only find 2 of the videos, unfortunately. I actually wrote to them saying, can you send me all 5? That would be wonderful. But they haven't written back to me yet.
Right.
The other one is called It Came From the Drain, about this little hairball. And it's a weird story that I could not pick up on without words. So it's definitely independent. I will be putting them in the liner notes this week because it's kind of interesting to go and watch them, but it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that hide and seek tag one is a lot of fun to watch.
The lip syncing they use for the 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi count off is really, really cool. Yeah.
I really love that a lot. I'm trying to see if there are any other... Do you have any other notes on this song?
Let me see what I got here. I think we already talked
While you're
about
looking, I will be posting the lyrics online on this week on our liner notes, because the lyrics that are online are mostly wrong. It's interesting why they're so wrong, because the album actually has the lyrics in the liner notes. Like, I don't know why people didn't translate them correctly.
Right.
But I will post them, so if you really want to see them, go to our website, go to our Facebook page. You can get them that way.
That'll work. So, by the way, in the break, while you were doing it, I did check my notes, and all I have left is the word orange written 360 times.
No rhymes with it, though.
So apparently that stuck out with me. That orange. So that's all I got.
No, I think that's one of the most fun parts of the song. When the first time that I played it, I'm like, no, they're not going. Oh my goodness, wow, he's going for it.
Yeah, right.
But this is just a fun
classic
song.
Ed. It's classic Ed. It really is a fun song.
Given what we've talked about today, my rating for this week is going to be oranges. How many oranges do you give this song?
I knew you were going to do that. I saw that coming. Totally saw that coming.
Should I have gone with door hinges instead?
Oh, you want mine first?
Yes, I will have you start, and then because I'm still trying to figure it out, because I love this song, but I can't quite place it.
How do you rate this? I mean, the last time I was on, we talked about Falling, and that was a very clear ranking, I think, for both of us on that one.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, I love the lyrics. I think the lyrics are brilliant. The rhyme, in the sense of the rhyme scheme, except they're obscure. They seem nonsensical. I'm sure there's a meaning behind it. Musically, I love what they did. The fact that Tyler takes such a vocal role, I think is very cool. Because up to that point, he hadn't done a whole lot. The other band members had, like on the Christmas album and that kind of thing. But that said, I think I also if I'm going to interpret a song, I want to be able to pull some kind of meaning out of it to attach to. So, fun song, not really clear on the meaning. Love the lyrics. So, I'm going to give this one 3.5 oranges.
3.5
or
oranges.
Traffic lights.
Nice.
Or traffic lights.
Or traffic lights.
Well, whichever you prefer. But yeah, 3.5.
How about orange traffic lights?
Orange traffic lights. We can do that.
All right. There we go.
Although they're clearly yellow. But Oh, I just stirred the pot on that
and
one.
And he brought it. You have to come on and disagree with him.
People are screaming now at their computer screams.
If they're screaming at their TVs, I want to know why.
It's been a long day. My daughter just went to kindergarten for her first day ever, so it's been a long day.
Congratulations to her.
Yes.
That's a big first day for a parent.
It was a big step. She was standing at the bus stop and she was all happy. Things were going well, and she goes, "All right, so which one of you are coming along with me?" We're not. Thought we covered this in the pregame, but in the
yikes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a long week, but
I would give this a higher rating if I knew what the lyrics meant.
Right.
And it made sense to me and I enjoyed it. But I don't know what they mean, but I still absolutely love this song. Like, I really enjoy it. I listen to it every time. It's on my iPod going to and from work. Like, it'll come on randomly and I'd just be like, okay, I gotta listen to this until it's done and then I can get out of the car. But it's not my favorite B&L song in the world. It's definitely not typically them, but almost in many ways, if it had Steve in the background, would definitely be like a Gordon type song.
Right. Yeah.
And so for me, like, that raises it a little bit because it has their, like, we're going to experiment with this a little bit and just have fun. We're going back to our roots a little. So for me, that brings it up to a 4.
Okay. I can see that. I can see what you say about it being raised if Steve was on it, because that would add a new dynamic to it.
Oh, yeah. He would bring something interesting to it, and his voice would just meld with Ed's, and it would just be beautiful.
Maybe in another 10 years, when they finally patch things over, they'll do it live together.
Oh, I would love to hear them do this live together.
Yeah.
So let's throw it over. Aaron, Michelle, what do you think about this song?
My friend Luke once told me that nothing rhymes with orange, and I thought for a moment and then said, door hinge. So the fact that Ed made this rhyme as well in this song makes me feel vindicated. It's a good song. It's an interesting song. It's got some good energy to it. It kind of reminds me of Bag of Bones, which I also liked. Didn't love, but liked quite a bit. And I would rate this quite the same. I would give 4 seconds a very hearty 3.5 out of 5 orange traffic lights and door hinges.
Hey, this is Michelle, and I'm here with my thoughts on 4 seconds. First, I'll talk about the album version, and then I'll talk about the version that they do with the Persuasions. I like the song. It's interesting. It's got a little bit of a different flavor or feeling to it than what I would normally expect to get from the Barenaked Ladies, but I really like it. The album version, the intro sounds to me like it would be the background music to a montage in Ocean's 11. You know, it's got that sort of up to no good sort of a feeling to it. But the song itself is really interesting, and I like how they play with time a little bit in the song. But when they sing with the Persuasions, I really think I get more from that version. The vocals have this haunted depth to them that is just gorgeous to listen to. And my note was, quote unquote, haunted gospel. And the version that they did with the Persuasions actually felt like something you would hear in the movie Moulin Rouge. That's what kept coming up for me. So I thought the song was really interesting. It's got a little different feel to it, but it's got a nice sense of adventure that I really love, and I'd love to hear more from them. So I give the song a 4.
All right.
They're so quiet tonight. Jeez, I didn't even hear them.
They're very quiet. I'm going to have to bump up their audio.
I'm starting to think Aaron and Michelle are allergic to me.
You must feel like you're being persecuted. You must feel like you're like always running away from it, like you're a fox on the run.
Yeah, exactly. Oh.
Thank you for that segue. I've been trying to figure out tonight like where I was going with this, but that worked.
That was pretty impressive.
I had no idea where I was going with that one. So join us next week when we discuss the song Fox on the Run.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4.
To celebrate joining Pantheon Podcasts, Rock Camp, the podcast, the official podcast of Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, is giving away a guitar signed by Mike Portnoy of Dream Theater, Marty Friedman, formerly of Megadeth, and legendary shredder Zakk Wylde, plus our rockstar counselors like Vinny Appice, Monty Pittman, and more. To enter to win, simply follow, rate, and review our podcast on your preferred platform, and that's all you have to do. For more information, go to rockcamp.com/podcast.